Obviously, a lot of big things happening this week in the stock market with earnings seasons, but all the main media will cover that. You come here to find interesting trading opportunities and setups that not many people are talking about at the moment. And one of them is uranium, where we're clear correction signs for the short-term correction that I told you about are forming, and that'll be our buying opportunity. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and months. So, greetings from Dubai. I am in Dubai right now for a conference, and I thought I send you a couple of selfies of mine. Here's another one. I thought that one turned out pretty good. So, let's talk uranium. This right here is a Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, and you can clearly see we are forming two dojis in a row after we broke the downtrend, right? That goes all the way back to 2025. This is a clear correction signal. We resisted this high right here. We went over it intraday, but we couldn't close above it. So now the correction is coming that I told you about. And again, we are talking about the zone around $20. And we see the same thing in the Global X Uranium ETF for the uranium miners. Doji forming today right at the uptrend. Right here, resisted this top right here. Not great. I would have preferred if we would have made a higher high, but again, still, uptrend is intact. We broke above the downtrend, so we have a change in trend. We are about the support zone right now. We might go all the way back to the lower end of the support zone, but that will be a buying opportunity. However, there's one wild card that we need to talk about that could really throw off the uranium trade, and that's oil. Look at the oil chart. It looks terrible, right? We had a small rebound. That rebound didn't even make it to the downtrend anymore. At least when we had the last rebound, forget about the bull trap, right? At least we went all the way to the downtrend. This time, barely made it like 60% there, halfway. We broke it and we're selling off already. This is bad. So far, nothing has happened. We need to see if these lows right here will hold. If that is the case, okay, then we might have a W bottom and then we'll see what happens. But this weakness is a problem. It's a problem. It shows us that the smart money that's trading in the oil market is concerned about the economy and the tariffs and what's happening. And don't be fooled by some of the numbers that you will see this quarter and in the next quarters of companies in the US. Those numbers will actually look pretty good because a lot of people are buying things right now. A lot of companies are buying things right now to stock up just in case tariffs go even crazier. So that means we have front-loaded demand that will peter out in the coming quarters, and then things may really fall off a cliff, which would be, by the way, great for the gold trade, right? But we'll see about that. But what we do see here is that oil is anticipating this development. The weakness in oil shows us that the oil market is not believing that the economy is really recovering at all. And this could derail the uranium trade, because if oil really tanks, right? And I've shown you before what really tanking means. As you can see, this low purple blue zone here goes all the way back to 2000. This is one of the most significant zones that oil has, right? This one right here. And this is what we're talking about. If oil is breaking to new lows, we'll stop here, okay? We'll stop around 52, 50, 53, 52 for a while. But we are talking, this is our target zone. $40 around, somewhere in between 42 and 38, right? But so $40 at the midpoint. This is where we're going, $40 oil. And if that happens, then obviously uranium, even though American uranium has its separate own story, but it will be difficult for the uranium stocks to escape an overall negative energy sector. That is the main issue that we need to watch. So if we're looking at uranium and uranium stocks, and we should, then we also need to have one eye on the oil market. And this is one of the reasons why we don't want to go banana crazy jumping into the uranium stocks right now. We want to slowly build out our positions. And we are seeing, in this case, the smaller ones are the more interesting ones, right? So, Sky Harbor. I talked about it before. We broke above this support zone, retraced it fully, we're still all the way back, weakness, but I still like the setup. Downtrend is broken already. Now, lower high, we haven't been able to make a higher high yet. And I expected a stronger surge after we had this massive candle that broke this resistance zone, which used to be support over here, now resistance. Because we went below it, we haven't seen that yet. But this one is, for example, small enough that it could separate itself from an energy sector that might be in trouble, might be too much to say, but might have difficulties to find its footing if gold is not performing. There's another one that not many people are talking about that looks really good. BWX Technologies. They do SMR reactor technologies, and as you can see, they look even better, right? The downtrend in 2025 is broken, clear reversal, right? Higher low, higher highs. We're above the March highs. Remember, you saw the last video. Not many uranium companies have accomplished this. This one has, even above the February highs. Resistance zone retaken, good strength compared to other uranium stocks. Put this one on your list. If this goes back to the midpoint around 105.50 of the support zone, or even a gap fill around 102.50, this is an interesting one to buy. As you can see, the RSI not overextended at all, but over the 50, which means there's buying dynamic coming into this stock. And the interesting thing about BWX Technologies is, let's compare it with the way more popular and famous Oklo, which doesn't look nearly as good. Look at this. Okay, so we formed higher highs and we barely made it over the April highs, but we are way below the March highs. Completely different than BWX Technologies. BWX looks way better than the more popular Oklo right now. And they don't do the same thing, but they're both in the same field, the SMR reactors. So those are two stocks that I'm looking at. BWX Technologies, I just gave you the limits. Like it at these limits a lot for a swing trade on the long side. Not many people are talking about that yet. That's it for today. Greetings from Dubai. I'll keep you posted what I hear over here, especially when it comes to gold and energy and crypto. Those are the three main things that are really popular in Dubai with the local investors. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.